Okay, so what if I told you that one of the most incredible achievements in all of human history was followed by a massive, colossal failure of memory? Today, we're going to dig into why a company's most valuable asset isn't what it owns, but what it knows. So back in 1969, we landed on the moon. An unbelievable feat, right? Just this explosion of new knowledge. But get this, just a couple of decades later, NASA's own chief historian basically admitted they might have lost the knowledge of how they actually did it. Not the blueprints, not the data, but the collective know-how, the expertise that lived inside people's heads. It had just vanished. I mean, how does that even happen?
And to really get the scale of this, think about the computer that guided Apollo 11. It had 4 kilobytes of RAM. 4. Your smartphone has over 2 million times more computing power. So this proves the problem wasn't a lack of tech. The real challenge, the monumental task, was organizing and holding on to the knowledge that was spread across thousands and thousands of human minds.
And that brings us to the heart of the problem we're talking about today, something we could call the Great Forgetting. You see, the NASA story, as wild as it is, it's really just an extreme version of a problem that happens in every single business. When a seasoned expert retires or a key team gets shuffled around, all that crucial knowledge just walks right out the door. All that hard-won experience, those little tricks and workarounds, they just disappear.
So if the problem is forgetting, then the solution has to be building a better memory. Let's talk about this idea of the organizational brain.
The official term for this is knowledge management, or KM for short. But I think it's way easier to just think of it as the system a company uses to build, maintain, and tap into its collective brain. It's a game plan to make sure that what the company learns, the company actually keeps.
So, how does this brain actually work? Well, it really comes down to 4 key steps. First, you have to capture the knowledge. That's both the stuff that's written down and, just as important, the expertise that's in people's heads. Then you share it so everyone can get to it. And here's the crucial part. You apply it to solve new problems. And finally, you discover new insights by looking for patterns in all that information you've gathered.
All right, that's the theory. But what does this look like in the real world? Let's check out a case study that really shows that apply step in action.
Let me introduce you to Darty. They're a huge electronics retailer over in Europe, and a while back, their call centers were in serious trouble. Their first-level agents, the first people you talk to when you call, they were just getting swamped. They didn't have the deep technical knowledge to solve most of the problems.
And the cost of this was just staggering. Get this, 95% of all calls had to be passed up the chain to more experienced and way more expensive senior technicians. It was slow, it cost a fortune, and you can bet customers were not happy.
So what did they do? Their solution was pure knowledge management. They built a simple system, basically a library of about 1,500 common problems, each paired with its proven solution. They essentially downloaded the knowledge from their experts' brains and handed it to their frontline agents. And the results? They were incredible. In just 3 months, that escalation rate plummeted from 95% all the way down to 20%. Think about that. By simply applying knowledge they already had inside the company, they totally transformed their customer service. They saved a ton of money and made their customers way happier.
But a really good organizational brain does more than just remember what happened in the past. It can actually help you predict the future. This is that discover phase we talked about, and it's where things get really cool. It's all about sifting through the mountains of information you already have to find hidden patterns, to predict what your customers are going to do or what they're going to want next.
So for example, take the online retailer eBags. When you go to their website, they grab your zip code. From just that little piece of data, their system can make a pretty good guess about the average income in your neighborhood. So if you're coming from a high-income area, boom, it shows you designer handbags. If not, it might feature items that are on sale. It's personalizing your shopping experience in real time, all by discovering patterns in its own data.
Now, we've talked a lot about systems and data and tech, but none of this works without the single most important component of all. Look, you can have the fanciest, most expensive software in the world, but if your company culture doesn't actually encourage people to share what they know, then all you have is a very expensive, very empty database. The organizational brain is powered by people who feel safe and are actually encouraged to contribute what they know. I love this quote from Bob Buckman. He says that good knowledge management prepares employees to embrace change rather than being afraid of it, and that just hits the nail on the head. When people are constantly learning from each other, when sharing is just part of the culture, they're not scared of what's next. the organization becomes more adaptable, more resilient.
So, let's bring this all home. Let's think about what this means for you and your world.
So the real takeaway here is a question for you to really think about. What crucial knowledge is walking out the door of your organization every single day? Think about your own workplace. Who are the go-to people, the experts? What happens when they eventually leave? An organization's memory is incredibly fragile, and building an organizational brain, that isn't just a tech project. It's a fundamental strategy for survival and for growth. So what does your organization know? And maybe more importantly, what is it in danger of forgetting?